The Wired Predator. Could this be a difference maker? It seems like a real game changer. That's pretty awesome. Hey, what's up YouTube world? It's Ryan from Ride in Style. And today I just have two of my current e-bike lineups out here. I do not have the Wired Predator, as that is very new. And as we all probably have seen in another video from Citizen Cycle, that it's more of a prototype that will become available in the future. But I did want to kind of show the concept of a powerful bike like Wired with the 1500 rear hub motor, and then also a dual motor in the Furious Road Warrior Elite here. And basically Wired has just created their all-wheel drive version, and it's called the Predator. And it's basically the exact same bike as we have with the version 2 with the rear battery pack, 15 amp hour and a 20 amp hour front battery. It's just going to have that front 1000 watt front hub motor there. Now, what I will say from owning an all-wheel drive bike is that that is a difference maker, because the takeoff on this Road Warrior Elite, it's just something that is, in my opinion, has been missing, even on a bike as powerful as the Wired bike. Now, this doesn't have a 1500 watt rear hub and a 1000 watt front hub. It's actually two 750 watt motors. However, when it came to the top speed of what was seen on the new Predator, it wasn't that much faster, maybe 2 or 3 miles per hour, if that. And compared to top speeds that I've already reached on the Wired Freedom with the version 2 and also with the Road Warrior Elite, they will still get you about 40 to 41 miles per hour. Now, is it worth the price difference? I think that depends, because the new Predator from Wired, it's going to cost you about $3,300, give or take, and I don't know what the shipping is going to be, because that bike will be definitely a lot heavier. As owning this bike, I can tell you that that front weight from the front motor, you definitely feel it. And the version 2 with the rear hub and the rear battery is already pretty robust. It's already pretty heavy for sure. So with the front motor, I can just imagine it'll probably be about 150 or so pounds maybe. I'm not sure. With the rear rack battery installed, if you know how heavy it's supposed to be, please leave a comment below. But I can say that my Road Warrior is actually very heavy, just overall when you try to pick it up. And this bike is definitely back heavy, which is why a lot of people experience that wobble when they're riding, because a lot of the weight falls on the front seat, and I mean on the rider's seat and back. I will say this about all-wheel drive bikes though, is there's no wobble on this bike because the way it's situated. One, there's no extra weight on the back besides maybe a rack bag that you may use, but it's got both batteries situated here in the front, mostly in the center, and then the weight is pretty much offset with an even sized motor in the front and the back. And so it's very stable, it's very grounded, and the power is just amazing. And it's hard to explain. I said that in one of my past videos when I was just doing a top speed test, is the one thing that these videos miss is just the raw acceleration, the adrenaline push that runs through your veins when you twist the throttle. I mean, it just is ready to take off and, you know, take you away, basically. That is one thing that dual motors can offer you. Now, some people may wonder, why is the top speed not that much greater? You just added a whole new 1000 watt motor to the bike. Well, there's a couple things to consider. One, it adds a lot more weight to the bike. So the bike will require, you know, more push to get it moving. And it may even equal a higher top end speed versus a takeoff, but you will get that initial torque because now you have power to both wheels at the same time that is grinding, and it'll equal a lot of wheel spin. And unfortunately, it may cause you to go through tires quicker with the burnout. But what you're getting is that rush, that acceleration from the get-go versus the gradual, take off to a nice top speed. Now, also, what's limiting the top speed from being much higher is that both of these bikes are at a 60 volt rating. That is what the system is designed to output. To get the most out of these motors, it could probably be closer to 50 miles per hour, especially with a 1500 watt and 1000 watt in the front. But it would probably need something like a 72 volt system to have that much. It's going to require more electricity to pump out to get that extra power. So what are you getting when you buy the Predator, or even when you buy a Furious, a Road Warrior, or any all-wheel drive bike, is you're getting a couple different options. I like it, and I've said this in my past videos as well, is I believe that a dual battery and a dual motor bike is going to be the new standard of e-bikes. It's going to be very difficult. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Where my first bike was a 500 watt rear hub 48 volt motor. And it was cute. It got me to 23 and it was something new, something different. But then my second bike was this. And this thing ruined me. The Road Warrior from Furious ruined me because it just went all the way to the other side of the spectrum. And any other bike that I've ridden since then, all I had this to compare it to was this. And even the Wired bikes, I mean, they're great, they're powerful, and they're durable, and they look amazing. But it's always a choice that I have to make when it's time to go for a ride. And there's just something about having a dual motor that I keep leaning towards because you have the different options. If one motor goes bad somewhere in your ride, you could always switch. If the front motor goes out, you have your rear and vice versa. But then you have that dual motor option, which will just give you that full rider experience that I feel like most of us want. That's why we buy e-bikes. So if you have hills, if you have things to climb and, different types of terrain, I don't know, I feel like a dual motor bike is definitely what you want. If you want that extra torque from takeoff, then definitely. But the Predator kind of puts Wired in that category now, where now it offers you a dual motor option. It's got the front motor only option. Same with what Furious has had that for a while. That's kind of been their staple for their all-wheel drive bikes. They've had it for a while, and now they're revamping. This is the older version of the Road Warrior. They've since changed it, I guess upgraded it as well to a full suspension. This one wasn't full suspension, but they gave a suspension seat as well as a seat post. But these are two great bikes, to be honest with you. To say that I'm not content or happy with any of these bikes would be a fool statement, because these are both great powered bikes. And of course, in my garage, I do have the Cruiser as well in the lime green. So I'm kind of stacking up a lineup. I've sold some of my other bikes. And seeing the Predator, I just thought, wow, they're definitely going to start to appeal to a much larger market. I was just hoping it wouldn't be the same price that I paid for this one. I was hoping they weren't going to throw that option out there for the same $19.99. So it was kind of a relief to see that it had gone up, another $1,200, $1,300. But overall, you will be getting the exact same bike with an extra front motor, and that may help offset some of the wobble that people explain they have, because now you're adding some front end weight, which will give you a little bit more of a balance instead of having it so like mid to the back heavy. And what I found myself doing was removing the rear rack battery, and that shaves off, that back weight, and it's a lot more manageable, especially if you're not riding for long periods of time. I don't think it affects the performance, that much, with a fully charged front battery, but it does, shave off that weight, and it does give you more control and stability on the front end because you're removing some of that back end weight. So that's just something to consider. If you don't need the rear rack battery, take it off and see if you notice a big difference. I will probably be doing a future top speed test with the battery on versus off and seeing if it makes a big difference. It may or may not. As far as this bike goes as well, for the Furious bike, I've ridden it without turning on the top battery, which actually it's on now. I need to turn it off. but I've ridden it without like turning that second battery on, and I didn't even notice it until I got home. So it's got the full performance, you know, regardless if you're running one or both batteries at the same time. So essentially you could treat that second battery like a reserve tank on your motorcycle or whatever. But overall, I just want to do a quick video on, you know, this new thing from Wired, you know, the Predator, that a lot of people were anticipating, myself included, that they would eventually come out with an all-wheel drive bike, and now they have. And it's only been, you know, several months after they've started releasing the version 2. And to be honest with you, I am fully happy with this. If the Predator came out at the same time as the version 2, this is just me, I would still go with the version 2 and, you know, just save the all-wheel drive bikes for those that, you know, really would need them. I wouldn't need them. I already have an all-wheel drive bike and I love it. And this offers so much bang for your buck, in my opinion. Value-wise, I don't think this will ever be topped. And that's just, again, my opinion. But yeah, so this is just a quick video on the evolution of bikes. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I feel like the new standard will become dual batteries, dual motors. And that will be, and I'm talking mountain bike style. I'm not talking anything like the motorcycles or moped looking ones. But which bike are you considering? Are you considering an all-wheel drive bike? Are you considering the Predator? I think there's maybe like 20 something that are gonna be made as maybe like a test batch to see how it takes. Will you be one of those? Or are they already sold out? I'm not even sure. Anyway, this is your options. In my opinion, you can get a strong rear hub, or you can get the dual motor, depending on your needs and your budget, of course. But you can't go wrong with either one. And that all depends on how you'll be using it and what your riding style will be. So what's next? Will Wired end up throwing a front motor on the Cruiser as well? I can say that Furious has a step-through version of the Road Warrior now, dual motor, all-wheel drive. So if that's something that interests you, if you want an all-wheel drive bike that has this type of a frame, a step-through frame, Furious has that already. So anyway, you can go check out their website. Maybe I'll leave it in the description. All right, guys, I just wanted to do a quick video. I saw the Predator. I was like, ooh, that is so nice. I mean, it definitely kind of fulfills some of our anticipation of what we thought, you know, our speculation really. But the thing is that I get to experience the joy already of riding a dual motor bike, and it's hard to explain it to people. You just have to do it. You just have to ride it. But, you know, it's now Wired offers you that. So if you love the Wired brand and, you know, they have excellent customer service and you were just hoping that they would have maybe a all-wheel drive version, well, now you have it. Go check out the website. This is Ryan from Riding in Style.